Your success up until this point quite possibly was built on duty. It was built on survival. It was built on people pleasing or proving your worth. Women living in a man's world, we've got to fight harder, work harder, prove, force our way through the door so that we can have a seat at the table, right? No. The quiet burnout of being the capable one is very dangerous for us. We as women, our nervous systems are not designed for that type of momentum and that type of stress, essentially. And so you begin to lose desire when it comes to life, and life essentially becomes an obligation. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I'm very excited today to jump into a conversation about the blind spots of high achieving women. I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the part of success that we don't see online, the parts that we don't post online, the dark, the grim, the moments of doubt, the moments of shame, the moments of challenge that don't necessarily make the Instagram highlight reel, the parts that feel strangely empty, even though from the outside looking in, we seem to have it all, right? We all have these moments. And I really want to call out the duality in that, because two things can exist at one time. Hear me now. If one part of your life feels challenging, pressured, right? Like it's restricted or contracting, that doesn't necessarily mean that every other life part of your life is falling apart. And I think this is something we really need to bring voice to, because sometimes we feel like we're so alone and we're the only ones going through it. Sometimes it can cause you to feel like a fraud, because on one hand, you're out there and you're doing things and you're creating and you're, gaining success in one area of your life, but then there may be another area that's challenged or suffering. But the truth is you're not alone, right? You're a high performer, period, on paper and otherwise. And still you're feeling a bit unfulfilled within your body, or maybe in your soul, maybe even in your heart, right? I talked a little bit about the loneliness epidemic and the fact that we are so connected and disconnected at the same time. Again, it goes back to that duality. We have access online. We're post COVID in all of these meeting rooms on Zoom, and the old art of connecting heart to heart, kneecap to kneecap, unfortunately has slowed up. I won't say it's dying, but it has slowed up. And so I truly believe that we're all yearning to get back to the rich place of connection, being seen, being heard, being held, not just in the high moments of our lives, but also in those tender moments, those moments where we're not exactly sure how to navigate through. So you've wondered, why does this not feel better, right? And you immediately judge yourself for even thinking about being lonely or shameful or not having the answers. But the truth is, you always find the answers. As a high achieving woman, no matter what, we figure it out. That's what makes us high achieving. We're resourceful, we're innovative. Fortunately, I'll speak for myself. I have learned to ask for help. I have learned to, and most highly successful, high achieving women have learned to surround themselves with people who shore up their weaknesses, right? People that you can learn from, people that can guide you on your journey and fill in the gaps. So it's not that you're not grateful. It's not that you're not competent or any of that. It's just that this is a time where you're being called to lean into the support, not feel like you have to know it all, right? Or be it all for everyone. You've outgrown that version of yourself. whether you know it or not. And I think it's a universal energy shift happening right now that we all get an opportunity to acknowledge, right? So, again, that's why they call it a blind spot. I'm here to just shed light, hold up a mirror, and say, hey, is this you? So, your success up until this point quite possibly was built on duty. It was built on survival. It was built on people pleasing or proving your worth, right? We're women living in a man's world. We've got to fight harder, work harder, prove, force our way through the door so that we can have a seat at the table, right? No. The quiet burnout of being the capable one is very dangerous for us. We as women, our nervous systems are not designed for that type of momentum and that type of stress, essentially. And so you begin to lose desire when it comes to life, and life essentially becomes an obligation. So if you've noticed that you've been possibly more tired at certain times, that you are not inspired to maybe do some of the things that typically would make you happy, maybe you've pulled back from some of your hobbies, maybe your libido has dropped. Well, if you're in menopause, that's part of it. It's kind of a roller coaster. But if you're not in menopause and your libido has dropped, then these are some things you might want to look at, right? If you feel like your creativity is stagnant, that you are finding yourself more and more just isolating, pulling back, maybe even experiencing a little bit of self doubt, this is the season you're in, right? And again, it's a symptom of the way you've been living your life. So fulfillment itself is not a luxury, and I think we've kind of been taught that it is. You get to be fulfilled. You get to be spiritually aligned. But with that, in order to have that, you must have a strategy. You must be intentional about it, and you must claim it. So abundance begins when success starts to feel like her, starts to feel like me. When I become an embodiment of success instead of performing success. The season is not about goals. So every year, make New Year's resolutions, you set your new goals, and you get to it. You get to it, right? What if this year you did something a little bit different? What if you set an intention, a global intention for the year? What if you allowed yourself to reconnect and realign with who you are and what you really want, the way you want to be living your life, how you want to feel every single day in your life? And then build around that. See what direction life brings you in based on that truth. So, I mean, this season is not about goals. It doesn't have to be about goals. It could actually be about recalibration. And for myself, anytime I'm looking to recalibrate, I always go back to the Anatomy of Abundance framework. I always go back to my own identity. Who am I really? Is the truth of who I am starting to slip away in the sea of responsibilities, right? And between who I am and who I'm being, how do I shore up that gap? The next thing that I typically will do is that I will declare, right? Once I acknowledge and I see what needs to be shifted or reframed, then I declare to myself first and then to others exactly what that truth is and the direction that I'm going to be moving in so that they can support it or just be on notice about it. And then sacred self-care. Anytime that things are feeling crunchy, I always go back to my own self-care, whether that looks like sitting in the corner and doing a meditation. If I'm feeling the stress in my body, it could involve walking on the beach or doing some yoga. If it's financial stress, then a lot of times I'm doing rituals and systematizing money, right? Taking a look at the hard stuff, the pieces that are working, the pieces that aren't working, and what I need to do to move the needle forward. So sacred self-care is not just bubble baths and getting your nails done. It's your mind, it's your body, it's your soul, it's your spirit, it's everything. It's your finances, it's your love life, it's everything. And so there is a soft door available. There is a sanctuary available that I've been diligently creating behind the scenes for the past, she's 3 months, really feeling into and tapping into the energy of the women that I know need this space. We don't need another mastermind. We don't need a bunch of tactics and strategies and accountability per se, right? What we need is to be held. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be held, not just in our success, but in our fullness. So bringing the vulnerability, bringing the doubt, bringing it all to the sanctuary so that you can be acknowledged, mirrored back your excellence, because you're a badass, a force to be reckoned with. And sometimes we just need to be reminded. And then, yes, figuring out our path forward, but in a way that is true to ourselves, that feels easeful and aligned, and most importantly, that is not performative, right? It's very authentic and impactful. So I'd love to invite you, if this is lighting you up, if your eyes are opening and you're leaning into the screen, I'd love to invite you to explore our Sovereign CEO Collective. The doors are not open yet. However, we do have an interest page that you can take a look at. And if it's calling to you, you can go ahead and join our interest list and we'll let you know when the doors open. All right. There might actually also be an opportunity for a preview call. So feel free to email me, contact me if you're curious and you want a little preview. So, again, I just want to leave you with this. If fulfillment is not just achievement, then what is it that you're calling in for yourself in this next season, right? Come have a deeper conversation. Come have a new engagement in a community and with guides that are here to hold you, that are here to see you and midwife you into your next level of elevation. All right. So, with that said, thank you for joining us here on Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I would love to hear from you. I welcome emails, comments. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast and tune back in next week for another incredible episode. All right. Same time, same channel. Show notes has the link for the Sovereign CEO Collective. And otherwise, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.